Hi! Let's talk about household hazardous materials, or HHM or HHW, household hazardous waste. What is it? Why do we care? And what do we do with it? So, let's talk about how you identify it first. Anything in your house that is a cleaner, a pool chemical, roofing material, paint kind of product, those are the kinds of things that we're going to be looking for these signal words on. What are signal words? Well, they are words right on the front of the containers that signal us that we need to pay attention. So those would be caution, warning, danger, poison. Those are the ones we're looking for. And each one of them is actually a different level of toxicity. So we're going to go through those and what they mean real quick, and then we'll talk about how to use and store and dispose of these properly. So when I'm looking at my cleaning materials, most of them are going to have a caution label, and it's right here in big letters right on the front. It probably will also say keep out of reach of children, so look for that too. So when you see this caution label, this is the first level of something being toxic. So it's usually going to be a skin or an eye irritant. It's maybe going to burn a little bit, or if you actually accidentally touched your eye, it's going to sting, it's going to burn a little bit. So you want to be careful about how you use them. And you know, even though we think, well, these are really no big deal, then I can probably put them in my trash. The problem is that if you put your chemicals in the trash and your neighbor puts their chemicals in the trash and they go in the back of the trash truck, the first thing the trash truck does is smash all of the containers. So those are going to leak together, they mix, and they can make some really, really dangerous combinations that puts those haulers in jeopardy. It also can be very dangerous at a landfill. These kinds of things are not allowed at a landfill. It doesn't mean that the haulers have time to go through your trash bags and look for these materials, but we don't want these in a landfill for that mixing problem. And also, leachate is something that has to be collected at a landfill and treated off-site. So the less of these that get into a landfill, the better. So we all need to be responsible in that regard. The next level of toxicity that we want to be looking for has a warning label on it. They are things that can make you a little bit sicker. They can be dangerous if accidentally ingested by a child or a pet. So we need to be super careful with these. They need to be in locked cabinets, or they need to be up high where they can't be reached. And when you're using them, you want to make sure that you're using them responsibly. So read the directions on the back of the containers. Only use what you need. Use protective gear if you need to, gloves, or maybe even protect your eyes, because there are different ways that these chemicals can get into your body: your eyes, your nose, your mouth, or your skin. So just make sure that you're not, spraying this all in front of your face as you're cleaning, or spraying any kind of material, or even mixing and using one product and then another product, because again, mixing chemicals can be very, very toxic. So look for the warnings, and then you're also probably going to see these two together: danger, poison. These would be things like antifreeze, rat poison. Some pesticides can have these kind of labels on them. Bleach has a danger label on it. So these definitely need to be kept away from where pets or kids can get into them. And then you may also see a label that says this. Probably it has a non in front of it. So art materials usually say non-toxic. These are not ones that we're going to have to worry about at all. Sometimes art products, though, just so you're aware, sometimes art products, if you are an artist, that are purchased from overseas do not have the same rules regarding what goes into them that we have in the United States, so just be aware of what you're purchasing and make sure that it's not toxic. And then you may also see a label that says corrosive. Those are usually going to be batteries. That's something to be careful with. And finally, you may see something that says flammable. Usually these also have a danger warning on them too, or a danger signal word on them. This is obvious why this is dangerous to us, so make sure that they're stored in a cool, dry environment. All right, so we know how to identify them. Let's talk about use. Let's say I'm going to move and I've got half a container of Windex and I don't want to move it with me. What do I do with it? What's the safest way to deal with it? Well, we always recommend using it up according to the directions. If you can't do that, you could give it to a friend or a neighbor that can use it up according to the directions, but it needs to be in its original container so that the precautionary statements and the instructions for use are intact. If you can't do either of those things, you can bring any of these kind of caution, warning, danger, poison products to us at Toxaway Days. Check out our website for the latest information about when the Toxaway Days are. We take all of these kind of products free of charge. We just want to get them out of the environment. Would it be safe or prudent to pour something down the drain or in the toilet? We need to think about where it goes. So if I pour it down the drain, I have a septic system. So that's going to go into my septic tank, and it's going to end up not only killing all the friendly bacteria that are in there, but also can leach out through the septic field and into the aquifer. And that's where we get our drinking water. So I don't really want to do that, and I don't think you guys want to do that either. The other thing is, if you live in a city or a town, you probably have a wastewater treatment facility. And those kind of treatment facilities are there to take out human waste. They're there to take out organic waste, but they are not made to take out chemical waste that we might be flushing. So these kind of products then can go back into a river or stream. And there are lots of things that are living in the river or stream that probably don't need our chemicals. Specifically, we do not want to dump our medications in the toilet and flush, because these chemicals that are in the medications get back into our water systems and affect our fish. We know that certain fish are having their endocrine systems interrupted, so their hormonal systems are changing, and that's due to medications in the water. Some of it we can't help because it comes from our bodies. Some of it we can help by not flushing this down the drain. We do accept medications at our Toxaway Days. We also have drop-off points in cooperation with some of the cities and towns police departments where you can drop off medications. I do want to tell you, when you are getting rid of your medications, you want to mark out your personal information with a Sharpie and leave the name of the medication on it. That's helpful when they're being sorted. Those medications that you bring to a Toxaway Day or to one of the police departments get incinerated, and that way they stay out of the way of people who might abuse them. They also don't get into our water system that way. You can also take care of these unused medications at home by adding wet coffee grounds or kitty litter or even just a little bit of water to it. Shake it up and put it in your regular trash so that anyone who might try to find medications to abuse is not going to be able to do it. It's going to ruin it. And it's going to go into a landfill. And our sanitary landfills are actually constructed in a way that protects our water. So that's household hazardous material, or HHW or HHM, however you want to say it. These are products that we need to be careful with using, storing, and disposing of. Check back here another time and we'll talk about how to make green cleaners so you don't have to worry about any of this. Thanks for watching.